Sup dickheads, Gobbo's back, and we are here with BPRL Season 5, Round 9 at Great Britain, Silverstone, one of the fan favourite tracks, but not mine, because I fucking hate it on this game. Shit's low. So yeah, as you can see, quali is wet. It was full wet, and it's only inters now, so we're crossing the line right at the end of the session. Last man across the line, we absolutely love it. Through Abbey and Farm. And we have still left quite a lot on the table, even sliding into Village there. So it's not been amazing so far, but you can see we're still like a 10th up on our Delta. Through the loop there, and now coming through Aintree, 2 tenths up. I was probably hoping for a bit quicker than that, as we're going to come to the first sector endpoint, and we are just about equal with Connor's time in the first sector. But we're not really, well, we are gaining a little bit. But then we're losing it again through fucking Luffield, and despite that whole section of corners there, we've only gained half a tenth, which I was expecting to gain a lot more than that on the best lap, considering it's drier than it was then. Through fucking Cops now, and we're only 3.5 tenths up, which really, this part of the lap was so poor. And again, through Maggots and Faggots, we're just shit slow, missed a couple apexes. Still only 4 tenths up now on our best time, and it should be about a second up by now. As you can see, Matteo's going to set a 43.6, and I have dropped to 6 tenths behind his time. So far from ideal, but I'm actually going to get my act together a bit in the final sector. Going to go through Stowe very nicely. Going to start to pick up a bit of time on the Delta, and this into Vale. I missed the apex so much last time. I've gone slightly wide there, but as you can see on the Delta, I've gained so much time. And then the run through Club has as a consequence been better, and I set a 44.3, which, considering I was the last guy across the line, was a pretty slow lap time. But yeah, it's put us 4th on the grid actually, because Connor had a grid penalty somehow, or Luke did. I don't remember who. But anyway, no, it was Connor. But anyway, we're away from the lights now. Matteo on pole, Sinan second, Eric third, myself 4th. The plan was to clear Eric as quick as possible and just try and stick on the back of those two. And I'm going to clear Eric, but then, I'm such a fucking retard, right? I had the move done on Eric, and then I decided to slam on the throttle a bit more to get to the apex earlier. And it meant I went straight into Sinan, and lucky for me, nothing happened to Sinan. Otherwise, that was penalty points for me, definitely. Like, it was very irresponsible, but thank fuck nothing happened. But yeah, that has actually left me with front wing damage. I didn't know until like a couple laps into the race. So we're all the way down in 14th with a little bit of front left end plate damage, as we're going to go past Jay there. So we're in 13th. Far from ideal lap 1. As you can see, Matteo's already into Maggots there, and we are not even at Cops. So a lot of ground to make up, and I'm not going to be able to do it, I don't think, just because I thought I'd be able to hang with Matteo and Sinan if I like stuck in the slipstream, but I'm not sure how quick I would have been trying to catch them, especially with all these guys. I'm about 10 seconds behind them now, and so we're behind Aaron. We're going to make a move into Stowe. No DRS at this point in time, it's only lap 1, so I'm going to give him a bit of space on the outside, but going to get that one done. So immediately the comeback drive is on, and up into 12th place as Sinan sets a 38 across the line, and I assume we're going to set like a 48, there we go. So it's 10-second gap to the lead. And here we go, coming through Abbey. I'm going to get a massive snap, and I'm going to go extremely wide onto the grass. Like, that happened a couple times to me. As I said, I just hate this track so much in this game. Like, I'm slow at this track compared to other ones. And yeah, so gonna let Jay through here because I've got grass all over my tyres. I can't even get the power down. And yeah, so later on in the lap, finally got all that shit off my tyres, and I've caught up to Jay. So this should probably be a pretty easy move. Jay's not going to make it too difficult for me. He's going to run wide, and I'm just going to go straight through past him in Cops. So now what was a 10-second gap to the leaders is basically a 20-second gap now, so any chance I had of catching them is gone. which is absolutely brilliant. But yeah, we're going to stick on with it. Lap 5 now, and we have caught Aaron and Connor, who has momentarily disconnected from the session. So the move should be pretty easy on Connor. Any second now. Yeah, so that move's done, and we are going to try and close up to Aaron as quick as possible on this lap, as the leaders are now in Stowe, and I'm coming up to Maggots, which is brilliant. But yeah, just taking it easy through Maggots and Faggots. And Chapel now. We are close enough to make the move, and we have DRS, so it's going to be easy as you like. Already in a slipstream, already alongside, and already past him. And we're going to leave a tiny bit of space on the apex, but he's not going to bother taking it. So we're going to get to the apex, and that's a done move on Aaron. And now at lap 7 we have Connor trying to repass us, so he's obviously got back into the session. And it was at this point now, because Connor's overtaken me and he's on hard tyres, and I was like, surely Connor can't be quicker than me on hard tyres when I'm on medium. So that's when I actually realised I had the damage, which is a bit shit. But yeah, we've now at the end of lap 7, and Connor has caught up to JB, and they're having a little tussle, and I'm just going to stick behind them and see what happens. And Connor's going to go wide, and then he's going to slide back across the track, or oh, fuck knows what happened there. And I'm going to grab that position of him, which is absolutely marvellous. And immediately Josh Bond is not going to have a great run through Alien Farm. It's going to allow me to get on the back of him through Cops. He's going to go slightly wide. I'm going to think about going side by side towards Maggots and Faggots, but not going to do it. So going to tuck in behind him again, and ooh, quite close to the back of him there. Fuck, didn't realise that. And but we've survived that one, and we're right underneath his gearbox, and we're gonna have DRS and slipstream, and that one is done. That's an easy move. He's not gonna be able to fight that one. So we're up into 10th place now, and yeah. So the comeback drive is well and truly on. Caught up to Saban now as we run slightly wide through Aintree there, but that's alright, not going to gain us any time, and we have DRS on Saban, and Saban at this point in time is now just a reserve. And after our collision in Bahrain, every time I came up behind him on track, he would let me through, and so it was like very kind, he didn't want to screw my race over anymore. But at this point I realised he's not going to be letting me through at all, so we're going to go side by side into Cops. I'm going to have the bigger balls on that occasion, and obviously, well, the inside line helped a bit, but yeah, going to take that move. And crossing the line now to start lap 10, and our front left is on 71%, so it is in puncture territory now, as we have Sutto entering the pits and Sinan exiting the pits in 5th place. So the net result of my shenanigans in the first 9 laps is a whole pit stop loss to Matteo and Sinan when I should have been right on their tail. So speeding into the pit lane there, pit assist on, absolute quality, and we are going to pit now and chuck on some hard tyres at the end of lap 10, start of lap 11. So the plan here would have been to go to the end as just a standard one stop, which would have been a lot easier than it ended up being, as you're about to find out. I was probably going to pit on lap 11 if I was in clean air up at the front and I didn't have damage, but since I did have damage I had to call it in a lap earlier, and they didn't fix the front wing, which is brilliant. So we're on lap 15 now, and I think that is, I was passing Connor who was pitted, and now lap 16 and we've got past Brandon who has pitted. So in a way we're on the same tyres going to the end, and so right now, thinking about all the guys in front who are yet to pit, I'm in a net like P3, but obviously my tyres are going to be very, 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 very worn, as Brandon, don't make it difficult for him at all, let off the gas, he's just going to be miles quicker. I was going to try to stick with him and just let him pull me down the straights, but that was never going to happen because, I don't know, he just dropped me so quickly. Like, as you can see, he's already crossing the line now, I think, or maybe he's even further ahead. But yeah, so he dropped me, and we now have Jamie, Mark, and Eric in pit. So I'm going to get past all three of them, and that's going to be me up into P4. So everyone has now made all their stops, and I am in 4th place, as I said. I should be a lot further up the road than this, but it is what it is, and we now have 39% tyre life and half a front wing and 5 laps to fend off 3 very fast guys on super softs. So it's not going to be easy. And we have Eric is already on our tail, so we only just got him as he was out the pit exit. So this one, I'm expecting this move to be done any second now. It was about this time in the race where I calculated I was not going to make it to the end with amazing pace. So I thought about pitting the super softs. In hindsight, maybe I should have done, but at this point it was a bit too late to do it. I'd already committed to the one stop, so like it was either just stick it out, hope the tyres wouldn't puncture, and see where I finished, versus, as you can see, Eric's just going to clean around me, and Connor's going to try follow me through and follow Eric through, follow his teammate through. It's not going to happen, and he's going to try and go up the inside of the Vale. And luckily I saw that one yet again, because Connor could be missing about a cumulative 10 front wings by now with the moves he's tried up my inside, which I've seen really late and avoided turning into. So now we've got Jamie coming past me on lap 23, and my front left is on 75%. It is going to pop any second. But I didn't want to. It's funny because like I'm commentating this after Hungary, so, and I got a puncture at Hungary, so I'm watching this cringing, just like, why was I even trying to risk this? 79% now with a lap and 3/4 to go, and I've got Mark and Soto all over me, so like it could go any second, and then I'll look like a fucking retard, because then I'm gonna drop like all the way out of the points, not even like the top 7 or 8 or whatever. But Connor, I can tell you, Connor actually pitted. He I think I was watching it, and it looked like, from how late he called it into the pits, was that he basically did whatever I didn't do. So I stayed out, so he pitted, and I reckon he was thinking, as Suttle goes past us there, I reckon he was thinking that my tyres were gonna properly drop off, as my previous lap was 4 seconds slower, and look at that tyre now. 85%, man, like, I took it to the end, wow. So yeah, across the line, that lap was 5.5 seconds quicker than my best, and I lost 8 seconds to Sutil on that last lap alone. So, well, 6 seconds to Sutil on that last lap alone. So we've come across the line in 8th place, only 27 seconds behind the leaders, because they were on the same one-stop strategy as me, but they didn't have damage, so they could look after theirs slightly better. And yep, so maybe without all the spins and bullshit like that, I might have been higher up, but I basically caused that for myself. So 8th place was probably the best I could have done on that strategy. So yep, alright. And we'll move on to Hungary, which I've basically already given away what happened, because I mentioned it earlier. So yep, Hungary, I don't even know if I can be bothered to release it, to be honest, because it's so shit. But I might just make like a parody video of it, just because it's so shit. But yep, cheers for watching, guys, and peace out.